The rain poured mercilessly on the empty street corner as Maya clutched her torn cardboard sign against her chest. "Anything helps. God bless." It read in faded marker. Her stomach hadn't seen food in 2 days, and her thin jacket offered little protection from the November chill that cut through her bones like ice. At 23, she looked far older, weathered by months of homelessness that had begun when her mother's medical bills consumed everything they owned, followed by her mother's death that left Maya completely alone in the world. As another well-dressed pedestrian hurried past without a glance, Maya's voice cracked as she whispered to no one, I just need someone to pretend to care, just for a moment." Her words were barely audible above the rain, but she repeated them like a prayer. "Pretend to hug me, please. Someone just pretend to hug me." If this story touches your heart, please hit that like button, share it with someone who needs hope today, and don't forget to subscribe to Billionaire in Love for more inspiring stories that will change how you see the world. Your support means everything to our community of dreamers and believers. Marcus Wellington stepped out of his black Tesla, his $1,000 suit somehow managing to look impeccable despite the weather. At 35, he commanded a business empire worth $12 billion, built from nothing after growing up in foster care. His days were filled with board meetings, hostile takeovers, and decisions that affected thousands of employees across 3 continents. Tonight, he was heading to another charity gala, where wealthy socialites would write checks and pat themselves on the back, never truly understanding what real suffering looked like. He was scrolling through his phone, about to call his driver back, when he heard it, a soft, broken voice that somehow cut through the noise of the city rain. "Pretend to hug me." Marcus stopped walking. Something in those 3 words hit him like a physical blow. He looked around and saw her, a young woman sitting against a building, her arms wrapped around herself, rocking slightly back and forth. Her sign lay forgotten beside her as she spoke to the empty street. "Please, someone just pretend to hug me. I know it won't be real, but just pretend for a minute that someone cares whether I exist." The raw vulnerability in her voice shattered something inside Marcus's carefully constructed walls. He had heard thousands of pitches, pleas, and requests for money throughout his career. But this wasn't about money. This was about basic human connection, something his wealth had ironically made harder to find. Without thinking, Marcus walked toward her. Maya looked up, startled, her green eyes wide with a mixture of hope and fear. She had learned to be wary of strangers, especially men who approached her on the street. "I'm sorry," Marcus said softly, crouching down to her level despite the wet pavement soaking through his expensive pants. "I couldn't help but hear what you said. You don't have to pretend with me." Maya stared at him, searching his face for any sign of mockery or danger. What she found instead was something she hadn't seen in months: genuine kindness. His dark eyes held a warmth that seemed to chase away the cold November air. "You heard that," she whispered, embarrassed that her moment of weakness had been witnessed. "I heard someone who needed what we all need," Marcus replied, "connection, compassion, someone who sees us as more than just another face in the crowd." He extended his arms slowly, giving her every opportunity to say no. "May I give you a real hug, not pretend, real?" Maya hesitated for a long moment. She had become so accustomed to rejection, to being invisible, that genuine kindness felt almost foreign. But something in his eyes told her she could trust this stranger. She nodded, barely perceptibly. Marcus wrapped his arms around her gently, as if she were made of something precious and fragile. For the first time in months, Maya felt safe. She didn't know that the arms holding her belonged to one of the most powerful men in the country. She only knew that for this moment, she wasn't alone. They stayed like that for several minutes, 2 souls finding solace in an unexpected connection. When they finally separated, Marcus sat down beside her on the wet sidewalk, completely unconcerned about his suit. "What's your name?" he asked. "Maya." She replied, her voice stronger now. "Maya Chen." "I'm Marcus." "Maya, when did you last eat?" The question brought fresh tears to her eyes. 2 days ago. A woman gave me half a sandwich." Marcus felt anger rise in his chest, not at Maya, but at a world that could let someone like her fall through the cracks. "There's a diner 2 blocks from here. Would you let me buy you dinner? Maya looked down at her dirty clothes, her unwashed hair. I don't think they'd let me in. You look like someone who's been through hard times, Marcus said firmly, and anyone who has a problem with that can answer to me. The diner was warm and bright, a stark contrast to the cold street. The hostess's expression soured when she saw Maya, but something in Marcus's commanding presence made her bite back whatever comment she was about to make. They sat in a corner booth, and Marcus watched with a mixture of heartbreak and admiration as Maya tried to eat slowly, her body clearly wanting to devour everything in sight after days of hunger. Tell me about yourself, Maya, Marcus said gently. What's your story? Between bites of the first real meal she'd had in days, Maya found herself opening up to this kind stranger. She told him about her mother's cancer battle, how they'd sold everything to pay for treatments that ultimately couldn't save her life. She talked about the medical debt that followed her mother's death, how she'd lost their apartment and her job when grief made it impossible to function. She explained how quickly everything had spiraled, how one tragedy led to another until she found herself on the streets with nothing but the clothes on her back. I had a degree in social work, Maya said, laughing bitterly. I wanted to help people. Ironic, isn't it? Not ironic, Marcus replied. Tragic. The world needs more people like you. People who care about others, even when they're struggling themselves. As Maya talked, Marcus found himself moved not just by her circumstances, but by her spirit. Despite everything she'd endured, there was no bitterness in her voice when she spoke about the people who had ignored her, no anger toward a system that had failed her. She spoke with the wisdom of someone who had experienced true loss, but hadn't let it harden her heart. I keep thinking this is temporary, Maya admitted, that tomorrow I'll wake up and figure out how to get back on my feet. But each day makes it harder to believe. What if I told you that tomorrow could be different? Marcus asked carefully. Maya looked at him skeptically. Are you going to tell me about some get-rich-quick scheme? Because I've heard them all from people on the street. Marcus smiled, the first genuine smile he'd felt in months. No schemes, but I might be able to offer you something real, a chance to rebuild. He reached into his wallet and pulled out a business card, sliding it across the table. Maya picked it up and her eyes widened as she read. Marcus Wellington, CEO, Wellington Enterprises. You're... She started, then looked around the diner as if seeing it differently. You're Marcus Wellington, the Marcus Wellington. I am, but more importantly right now, I'm someone who believes you deserve better than what life has handed you. Maya stared at the card, then back at him. Why, you don't even know me. I know enough, Marcus said. I know you have the strength to survive on the streets without losing your humanity. I know you asked for a hug, not money. I know you were willing to settle for pretend kindness because you thought that was all you deserved. That tells me everything I need to know about your character. Over the next hour, Marcus learned more about Maya's background. She had a master's degree in social work from a prestigious university, had worked with homeless youth before her mother's illness derailed her life. Her references from her previous job were glowing. Supervisors who had described her as compassionate, dedicated, and naturally gifted at connecting with people who had given up on themselves. I have a proposition for you, Marcus said finally. Wellington Enterprises has been looking to expand our corporate social responsibility programs. We need someone to head up a new initiative focused on homelessness prevention and support services. The position comes with a substantial salary, full benefits, and the resources to make a real difference. Maya shook her head. You can't just offer me a job because you feel sorry for me. That's not how the world works. You're right, Marcus agreed. That's not how the world usually works, but sometimes the world needs to work differently. And I'm not offering you this job out of pity. I'm offering it because you're exactly the person we need. Someone who understands the issue from the inside, who has the education and passion to create real solutions, and who has the resilience to handle the challenges that come with trying to change a broken system? Maya was quiet for a long moment, staring at her hands. What if I fail? What if I can't handle going back to a normal life after everything that's happened? Then we'll figure it out together, Marcus said simply. But Maya, failure isn't falling down. Failure is staying down when you have the chance to get back up. The challenges began immediately. Marcus arranged for Maya to stay in a corporate apartment while she got back on her feet. But the transition from homelessness to stability was harder than either of them anticipated. Maya struggled with panic attacks when she had to sleep in an enclosed space after months of sleeping outdoors. She hoarded food in her apartment, unable to trust that meals would be consistently available. Simple things like using a credit card or remembering how to dress for an office environment felt overwhelming. Marcus found himself taking a personal interest in Maya's recovery that went far beyond professional concern. He checked in with her daily, sometimes stopping by her apartment when she couldn't bring herself to come to work. He sat with her through panic attacks, listened when she needed to talk, and gave her space when she needed to process her trauma alone. "I don't understand why you're doing this," Maya said one evening when Marcus had brought her dinner after she'd missed another day of work due to anxiety. "Maybe I'm doing it because I recognize something in you that I've been missing in my own life," Marcus admitted. "I built my company by being ruthless, by never showing weakness, by keeping everyone at arm's length. But watching you rebuild yourself with such grace and determination, it reminds me what real strength looks like." As weeks turned into months, Maya began to find her footing. The panic attacks became less frequent. She threw herself into developing the homelessness prevention program with a passion that impressed even Marcus's most skeptical board members. Her first-hand experience, combined with her professional training, allowed her to design interventions that actually worked. The program's first major success came 6 months after Maya started. They had prevented 43 families from losing their homes through emergency assistance and case management services. Maya had personally worked with each family, understanding their struggles in a way that no textbook could teach. But the biggest transformation was in Marcus himself. Maya's presence in his life had softened edges he didn't even know he had. He found himself genuinely caring about his employees' well-being, not just their productivity. He started asking about their families, their struggles, their dreams beyond their job descriptions. "You've changed me," Marcus told Maya one evening as they worked late in his office, reviewing program reports. "I used to think success was measured in profit margins and market share. Now I think it might be measured in lives touched and problems solved." Maya looked up from her laptop. "You were always a good person, Marcus. You just needed permission to let it show." Their relationship evolved slowly, built on mutual respect and shared purpose rather than the whirlwind romance that Marcus's wealth might have easily attracted. Maya never forgot that Marcus had seen her at her lowest point and chosen to help rather than look away. Marcus never forgot that Maya had shown him what true resilience looked like. The night Marcus finally told Maya he loved her, they were volunteering at a homeless shelter that her program had partnered with. They were serving dinner to families who reminded Maya of herself just a year earlier. She watched Marcus interact with a scared little girl whose family had just lost their apartment, seeing him crouch down to her level and speak to her with the same gentleness he had shown Maya on that rainy street corner. "I love you," he said later as they walked back to his car. "Not because I saved you, and not because you've changed me. I love you because of who you are. The woman who asked for a pretend hug because you thought that was all you deserved, not knowing you deserved the whole world." Maya stopped walking and turned to face him. "I love you too. You gave me more than a job or a home. You gave me back my belief that I mattered." 2 years later, Maya's homelessness prevention program had become a model replicated in cities across the country. He spoke at conferences, testified before Congress, and was recognized as one of the leading experts in innovative social services. But more importantly, She had helped thousands of people avoid the fate she had barely escaped. Marcus had restructured his entire business philosophy around sustainable practices and social impact. Wellington Enterprises became known not just for its profits, but for its humanity. The company's motto, suggested by Maya, read, "Success measured in lives improved, not just dollars earned." On a rainy November evening, exactly 3 years after they first met, Marcus and Maya returned to the street corner where their story began. They weren't alone. They had brought supplies for the homeless individuals who still gathered there, part of their monthly outreach routine. As they handed out warm meals and connecting people with services, Marcus reflected on how much had changed. The scared, broken young woman he had met that night had become a force for positive change in the world. The cold, isolated businessman he had been was now surrounded by meaningful relationships and purposeful work. "Do you ever regret it?" Maya asked as they prepared to leave, taking a chance on a stranger who asked for a pretend hug. Marcus took her hand, the engagement ring he had placed there just weeks earlier catching the streetlight. "Never. That moment taught me the most important lesson of my life, that we never know which small act of kindness might change everything, not just for the person we're helping, but for ourselves." Maya smiled, thinking about all the lives they had touched together, all the families they had kept housed, all the individuals they had helped find their way back to stability. "You know what the best part is," she said. "What's that?" None of the hugs have to be pretend anymore. As they drove away from the street corner that had brought them together, Maya looked back one more time. Tomorrow they would return with their outreach team. Tomorrow they would continue the work of building a world where no one had to ask for pretend affection, because real compassion was readily available. Their story had started with a broken young woman who thought she only deserved pretend love, and a successful man who had forgotten what real connection felt like. It had become something beautiful, a partnership that proved love and purpose could transform not just individual lives, but entire communities. The rain that had brought them together that first night had seemed like another burden to bear. Now Maya understood it differently. Sometimes the storms in our lives aren't punishment. They're the weather that brings us exactly where we need to be, to meet exactly who we need to meet, at exactly the right moment. And sometimes, when we're brave enough to ask for what we need, even if we think we only deserve the pretend version, the universe responds with something real, something lasting, something that changes everything. This story reminds us that every person we pass on the street has a story, dreams, and infinite potential. Maya and Marcus found each other because they both had the courage to be vulnerable in a moment when it mattered most. If this story inspired you, please show your support by hitting that like button, sharing it with someone who needs to hear this message of hope, and subscribing to Billionaire in Love. Your engagement helps us reach more people who need to know that their story isn't over, it might just be beginning. Comment below and tell us about a time when a stranger's kindness changed your perspective. Until next time, remember, you never know which act of compassion might transform a life forever.